From some of the best characters in recent TV to incredible stories and even better action, Reacher has it all. The first season did exceptionally well, with fans eager for more. With that said, is there going to be a second season? Here's all you need to know about it, starting with how the first one ended. Here's a little recap for all of you who might not know much about the show itself. The first season was incredible, but that was expected since it was based on Lee Child's iconic book, Killing Floor, following along the story of, you guessed it, Jack Reacher, who stumbled upon his brother being murdered in a small and quiet town.
You're under arrest for murder.
In search of revenge, he teams up with a trio of cops who all find out that the entire thing is linked to South America. As you'd expect from someone as badass as Reacher, he turned the entire town upside down in search of his brother's killer.
Thinking I'm supposed to do something about it.
Like what?
I guess I'll find everybody responsible and kill every last one of them.
While also taking down some of the biggest criminals in the area, all the while looking as cool as ever doing it. So that's where the first season left off, and hopefully the second will pick up from there. Speaking of that, what's the plot of the second season?
Miss Gordon, this is Jack Reacher, Joe's brother. Joe's dead.
How?
He was murdered.
This might be a huge turnoff for fans of the book to hear, but the next season will supposedly skip over 10 whole books. Instead, it will start from the books called Bad Luck and Trouble. That's never a good idea with any adaptation, so I really don't know why they're doing that. But hey, if the show doesn't deteriorate in quality, I won't be complaining.
Happens more often than you think.
Meaning?
It's what they did to my brother.
You're gonna kill a whole lot of people, aren't you?
Already started.
The book they're starting from for this season is one of the best in the series, so if they stick to the source material, it's all good news. The synopsis gives you a pretty good idea of the upcoming season's plot. It certainly makes for an interesting season too. As Reacher is casually chilling in Portland, he comes across a sign that only people who lead his lifestyle would recognize, dragging him into another adventure where a bunch of ex-army investigators are being hunted down one by one. Because of that, he's thrown into a world where he's supposedly killing his old friends. Is that true, or is he being set up?
You do not mess with the special investigators.
You do not mess with the special investigators.
Not just that, but he ends up being pulled into something much worse. Just the synopsis itself is enough to get me excited about it, though the actual adaptation will be pretty different from the book, as is the case with book adaptations. With that out of the way, Season 2 could be even better than the first one, mainly because you are already familiar with the characters, giving the team much more time to focus on important aspects of it.
Their plan is to kill all of us, just like they killed my brother. Your Treasury contact.
Mark Salas?
That's just the name he gave you. Real name's Joe.
But when is the season even coming out? There isn't any official news out there, so the best I can do right now is predict when it's going to come out. Considering that the show's first season came out in February of 2022, people were expecting another one around the same time. But that seems highly unlikely, especially since not too long ago, they just finished the film process for the season. Despite that, Vernon Sanders, the head of Prime Video Television, talked about it in an interview, saying that you're for sure going to see it in 2023. He also talked about how well filming was going for it and how great of a job the cast was doing. And from what he could say about it, it was building up to an even better experience than the first season. Along with that, he also talked about how the support that fans of the book have been giving them is amazing and has kept them motivated, making sure that they put out the best possible product at the end of each day. Meanwhile, you might be wondering if a trailer is out yet, especially since filming is over. Sadly, there still isn't a trailer out, but there will surely be one. I'm going to assume that they'll put it out once the second season is at least partially done with its post-processing phase. But until then, you could catch up with the books or even watch other content from the same cast. While I'm talking about the cast, who's in the second season?
Miss Conklin, you come to clean out your desk?
The cast is, of course, just as incredible as the first season.
Reacher.
I figured it out. I know how they're manufacturing their money.
What? How?
There's no way they drop some of the talents that made the show as incredible as it is. With that said, there's of course Alan Ritchson on the list.
First things first, what is your name?
Sasquatch don't talk. And a passport on you, though. Jack Reacher. No middle name.
I mean, you couldn't make a show on the character without one of the best representations of him. The actor has really broken out ever since his role in the show, with him taking on huge roles, so good for him. But you've also got some great news about who else is going to be leading the show alongside him. You've got Sean Sipos playing Reacher's old friend from the army, helping him as the show's second lead. Along with him is none other than Maria Sten playing Frances Neagley.
Hey,
Sit down.
when a woman says she doesn't want to be touched, she doesn't want to be touched.
This time, she will have a much bigger role in the show, and the character keeps on popping up in the books, so all fans are really excited about that. Though, there's also some sad news. Most of the actors from the first season, specifically those from Roscoe, aren't going to be in it.
We've taken up enough of your time. Have a nice evening, Roscoe.
Which makes sense, since that town was only going to be in the first season. But you're surely going to be getting some more incredible additions too. In fact, according to recent reports by Deadline, Ferdinand Kingsley from Sandman is joining in too, along with Serena Swan, Rory Cochrane, and even Luke Billick. But that's not all. There are a few more actors, though not much information about them has been released. With all that out of the way, let's talk about the production of the season. The star of the show, Ritchson himself, has been keeping fans up to date about how the show's going on.
I'm going to do the right thing, Mom.
I know you will. You always have.
So, of course, back in September of 2022, he let everyone who follows him know that they've officially started filming for it. Not just that, but he also claimed that they intend to make it much bigger than the first season. How do they intend to do that? One of the things that they keep on mentioning is the visual aids. There's also been another recent update from the actor about how the filming ended in late February of 2023. So, it shouldn't be too long before it's out. The post also showed him off all covered in bloody makeup, something that got fans all excited once again, along with some more claims of how they actually did manage to make it much bigger this time. With such big claims, how have fans been reacting to them? Fans have been absolutely in love with the show ever since the start of the first season, while some hardcore ones out there are highly critical of the show, missing out on a huge chunk of the source material. Mostly responses have been pretty positive. Not just that, but people have been eagerly waiting to see their favorite characters taking on huge groups of enemies once again. Will the show be able to keep the same quality in its second season, or is it just a one-season bust? There's a lot that they have to prove this time, but up till now, things look pretty good, and hopefully it'll stay that way. I, for one, am super excited to finally get my hands on it, and I'm sure a lot of you out there are as well. That's been a look into everything you need to know about Reacher Season 2.